Hello, it's Lena and welcome back to my channel. All 54 of you. Subscribe please. Cheaters. Scum of this earth. Nobody likes them. If you do like them or sympathize with them, you are also a cheater. I have never been cheated on because I've only been in one real relationship. But if we are counting middle school, I have been cheated on, yes. Today, we are going to be reading some cheating scandals. Let's get to it. I, 36 female, found out that my husband, 38 male, has a Camila. I feel very strongly about Camila, okay? I don't think my husband would ever, but if he ever had a Camila. I've been married to my husband for 2 years now. It's a first marriage for both of us. His family has been very good to me. They immediately accepted me, welcomed me in, started including me in family events, really made it not even a second thought to say yes when he proposed after a year of us being together. I noticed on social media that there are always likes from a teenage boy on posts that he puts up about me. Interesting. Why is there a teenage boy liking your husband's post specifically about you? I thought it was a bit weird that he's friends with the teenager, so I looked through the photos I could see on his profile. Girl, same. There are a few with my husband from about 8 to 10 years ago, as well as another woman. When I asked my husband, he said that the boy is his ex-girlfriend's son. He explained that they were very serious, but that she had ended up getting married to someone else. This seemed odd to me, so I asked my mother-in-law about her the next time I saw her. My mother-in-law rolled her eyes and said, "Don't even mention Val." Gasp. So the mother-in-law doesn't even like her. I love it when mother-in-laws hate on the toxic ex. Openly, publicly. You're standing up for your son and his current partner. I am so glad that you came along because that girl was so bad for him. She was unemployed, a single mother, and just very trashy. She's going in for the kill. We never would have accepted her. They sound rich. Are they rich? I'm also sweating. I am very successful career-wise. Oh, okay. And well-established. Oh, okay. My family is very prominent in the community and well-regarded. Literally Princess Diana. The more I thought about it, the more it really felt like my background had more to do with things than anything. I asked my husband about Val again and asked if he would have married her if not for his family. He said that one of the biggest reasons she chose someone else was because his family refused to accept her. When I asked what was different about me, he responded, "She was Camila and you're Diana." No. I am speechless. Why would you say that? Why would you think, oh yeah, like, she was Camila and you're Diana? I would be so mad. I am so mad. Oh my gosh. I asked him if that meant he would marry her if anything happened to me. Did he think about the weight of those words? He shook his head, laughed, and said I was being ridiculous and that he didn't think like that. I'm so sorry, girl. I told him I wanted him to remove and block his ex and her son from his social media immediately and stop communicating with them. Communicating? He was talking to them. He's told me that he has a cordial relationship with both of them and that he doesn't feel like it's fair of me to ask him to cut them out. Oh, okay. Right. Is there a good way for me to deal with this knowledge? I'm losing sleep over the fact that I feel like a placeholder that is there to please his family, and that he'll go back to her once his parents are gone. I'm starting to doubt every interaction I ever had with him. When I bring it up to him, he gets upset and tells me to stop dwelling on his past. I wish that I'd never known this because I feel like all of my happiness has been drained. That's so sad. Is there a good way to approach this? Well, maybe not divorce because Diana didn't really live long after the divorce. I miss Diana. I wasn't even born in that time era. That's how influential she was and still is. You can continue on living your life and pretending that everything is okay, that he chose you over her. On the other hand, you can file for divorce. I mean, it doesn't sound like you have a kid. It's not like you're completely tied down to him. The marriage is still relatively fresh and new, so she's got him and he wants her. So I think you should go for the divorce. Considering Charles cheated on Diana with Camila, that was quite possibly the worst analogy he could have made. Why do you think that was a good idea to say that? Hey, this is Great. I just came up with something, babe. Yeah, so about that woman that you're so worried about, she was my Camila, and you're my Diana. Don't talk at all, actually. Ever. Again. Moving on. I, 36M, caught my wife cheating. How should I approach it? Okay, we have screenshots. Morning, hun. I hope that you're already awake. I'm already at work and I'll try calling you during my break. But I just wanted to check that you haven't defrosted anything for dinner tonight. Blank have invited me out for a few drinks after work, so I won't be back till around like 9 or 10. Love you, hun.
Sure, no worries. Go and have fun tonight. I'll see what there is that I can do for myself tonight.
You seem a bit abrupt in your reply.
Yeah, I'm fine. Still sleepy because I've only just woken up.
Okay, just wanted to check that you're okay. If you wanted anything in particular tonight, then there's also some leftover lasagna. You'll be able to find it in the fridge. There's also some salad there too. Oh, and help yourself to the last of the cheesecake too. I best get back to work though. I love you.
That was a bunch of nothing. I wanted juicy drama. What am I gonna do with this? Defrosting anything for dinner and lasagna?
I first noticed changes to her behavior a couple months ago, such as wanting to spend more time with her colleagues after work. This was unusual behavior for her, as she's usually not the drinking type. And she's also never been one to socialize much with her work colleagues. Red flag. That's never a good sign. Like, any time that there's an abrupt switch up in personality and habits, something is awry. She's always been a homebody who prefers staying home with me and cuddling up on the sofa in the evening. But these past couple months, she's been going out 1 to 2 times a week after work, and she'll often arrive home at around 9 p.m. Cheater. She'd always message me once she arrived there, would check to see if I found the dinner okay. She often bulk cooks our dinners and freezes them, and would then message me again when she's on her way home. At first, I didn't think much of this because I thought that it was good that she was socializing with her colleagues. That is, till I noticed a message notification that she received in her group chat with her friends earlier this week. My wife was busy getting ready for work, and her phone was still next to our bedside charging. So on seeing the notification, I opened up her phone to look through her WhatsApp group chat. Friend 1. Hey Em, just checking that you're still on for tonight with Steve. Wife. Yep, Matt is okay with me meeting up with you all tonight. You all? Em, what do you mean you all? Friend 1, friend 2, and Steve all leave a laughing reaction to my wife's comment. Come on, that is so I checked more of their chat, and amongst all the general talk, they were talking about my wife and Steve's affair and how I'm completely oblivious to what's going on. I also looked through the messages between my wife and Steve, and they started communicating around 4 months ago. Started with a bit of flirting between the pair of them, and this led to exchanges of nude photos and conversations about hooking up at his apartment. I've seen all of their conversations and my wife talking about having sex with this guy. I've taken photos of the group conversation and the private conversation between my wife and Steve, and I plan on using them when the time is right. Because I feel like my wife will either try to gaslight me into thinking that there's nothing going on, and or she will spread misinformation and that I am lying. Probably. She's cheating, so can't trust her. Now I'm wondering the best approach to take on confronting her about the affair, because this has devastated me. We've been together for almost 14 years. I just never understood how people could throw away years together, years of building life together. Why would you just throw that away? The most you could do is be like, I fell out of love with you and I want a divorce. Oh, and I'm gonna this guy and his 2 friends. It's very harsh, but at least you can say you didn't cheat. We've been together for almost 14 years, married for 8. Though thankfully there aren't children involved. Oh, thank God. But we have been discussing the idea of trying for a kid next year. It's just been difficult thinking about kids in the current economic climate. Piece of poo on a platter. Not even cheating with 1 person, cheating with 3. And making you look like the fool. The title of this one is wild. I recorded my wife cheating on me and I can't stop watching it. Just stop. Just put the phone down. You don't need to do this to yourself. A couple weeks ago, I decided I wanted to surprise my wife with a kid-free night out. My parents live about an hour and a half away from us, and I arranged for the kids to stay with them for the weekend. Usually, when I go to my parents, I am gone until later in the evening. We spend all day there and leave around dinner time. This time, I was dropping the kids off and immediately going home so I could surprise my wife and we could go out as soon as possible. This is already heartbreaking. I had made reservations at a nice restaurant and was hoping to go to a few places for some drinks first. I left at 8:30 and was back in our housing plan before 12:30. As I pulled onto my street, I saw a truck parked in the front of my house. I did not recognize it. I assumed it was someone seeing the neighbors though, because it's not that unusual for someone to park in front of our house. I parked a few houses away thinking I would sneak into the house and surprise my wife instead of pulling in the driveway and going in the garage. I went in through a basement door. I was as quiet as possible, but as soon as I walked in, I heard her making sounds from the floor above. No. When I first heard it, I thought she was just by herself, maybe having some personal time. I didn't want to interrupt her privacy and embarrass her, so I was going to go back to my car and just go in the garage so she would know I was home. Then I heard a man's voice. I immediately felt sick, especially after all of that effort so that you could surprise your wife with this very nice frickin' weekend. My heart felt like it was going to explode out of my chest. It is hard to describe how I felt in this moment. I decided to go upstairs. Oh my god. I had no desire to confront them. I just wanted to see what was going on. I moved slowly and quietly and went up the stairs. The door was halfway open. The kitchen was empty, but I could tell they were in the living room. It was obvious what was going on at this point by the sounds. There was no way for me to look in the living room without them seeing me. I pulled out my phone and opened my camera app. Put my phone just around the corner of a wall. This part is so hard to write. I think it's gonna be so hard to read. I could see my wife with a man I didn't recognize. I won't go into detail on what they were doing, but I think you can figure it out. Maybe they were banging on some bongos, I don't know, having sex. I started recording it. I was thinking that I needed a record of it for whatever I decided to do in the future. I just stood there in my kitchen, watching this all unfold on my screen. I felt like I could just scream at any moment, but for some reason, I just froze completely. This went on for several minutes. She finally jumped off of him and made a comment about going to the bedroom, and they went upstairs. She even made a comment about how much time they had left. I walked into the living room and found the guy's pants. I took his wallet out and took pictures of his driver's license. I know his name and his address now. I've never met him. I have no idea how my wife knows him. I left the house the same way I entered. I went back to my car and cried like the pathetic man I am. Okay, guy, come on, you're already beat down. You don't have to beat yourself even more. I decided to watch the video to make sure it recorded. I watched it all. I'll spare the details, but I sat in my car for at least half an hour. I couldn't drive to my parents and get the kids as I would have to explain why. I decided that I would pull in the driveway, open the garage, and just pretend like I was there to surprise her. I took my time getting into the house. I made a lot of noise. When I saw her, she was very flustered, asking me why I was home. She was in a robe and said she was just getting ready for a bath. You weren't getting ready for a bath. I told her about my plans and she seemed excited. She poured us both a glass of wine and said we should pregame before getting ready. I don't think I talked much really. She took me into the living room. I'm not proud of what I let happen. I could faintly see the guy sneaking downstairs and going to the basement stairs, but I didn't say or do anything. I just let my wife continue doing what she was doing to me. Since that day, I've watched the video of her repeatedly. Oh my gosh, why are you doing this to yourself? You don't have to do this to yourself. You can call a divorce attorney. I can't bring myself to make any decisions on what I should do next. She seems to know something is wrong with me because she's asked a few times if I'm okay. I feel worthless, and every time I hit a low point, I watch that video again. I feel like I've watched it at least 10 times a day since I've caught them. Yeah, you know what? I get it. I totally get it. Like, it's like when you're a kid on YouTube and you watch this traumatizing and disturbing video, but you just can't look away. There's updates, multiple updates. I stopped watching the video after reading all the comments on my first post. It has helped clear my mind and allowed me to focus on my next steps. This has allowed me to be mostly back to my normal self for both my kids and my job. I have gone through my wife's phone and found nothing. I searched the guy's name from the driver's license. I figured out that's how they met. He's a landscaper. She was calling some a few months ago to clean up our yard and ended up getting some mulching and cleanup done. I've driven past his house many many times. I think he is single, as I couldn't find any records of other people living at that address. I've been avoiding my wife after the kids are in bed to try to limit one-on-one time. Don't want any awkward conversations, and I also don't want to have sex. Understandable. I have mostly been successful with this, but did slip up one night when I had a little too much to drink. I hated myself for it the next day. I don't believe she has seen him since the day I caught them. I've been paying attention anytime she's gone. I obviously can't track her 100%. I've read about Apple AirTags, but I use Android. I'm guessing any app I would put on her phone may be discovered. I've installed a doorbell camera on our house though, so I can always see the street. When I did this, my wife didn't say anything. We continue to do things as a family as we normally would. I would have done my best to not let her know that I know and to continue to be a good dad to my kids. The weird thing I'm dealing with now is that she's planned a night out with a friend for drinks. It's a friend from work, so I don't know her at all, and I'm not connected with this person on social media. When she told me, I made up some excuse about work and said I couldn't watch the kids. She ended up getting our neighbor to agree to babysit. Now I'm debating if I should follow her to really see if she's meeting her friend or the guy. It seems like I'm heading towards a confrontation either way when I just want everything to go back to normal. I'm going to leave my house soon and pretend to be going to work. I'll probably just go to a bar to kill time until I can drive by the place she's supposed to be going to. I'm filled with dread about all of this. My guy, you're making me want to drink. This is so sad. Update 2. On the night when she was going out with her friend, I still pretended I had work and left the house after the babysitter arrived. I went to a bar and had a few drinks. Then I drove over to the restaurant she said she was going to. I saw her car in the parking lot. I'm not going to lie, I was on edge and incredibly nervous despite the drinks earlier. I was so worried I would walk in and see her with that guy. I was hoping to sneak in and get a look without being seen, but that failed miserably. She saw me as soon as I walked into the door. She was with her friend and not the guy. What are you doing here? Thought you were working. I told her work ended early, so I wanted to stop by to say hi since we had a babysitter. I left after a couple drinks and went home to relieve the sitter. So many of you have commented on my last post that I need to confront her, and I decided in that moment that I would. I couldn't hold it in any longer. I got the kids to bed and waited for her to come home. I watched the video again to remind myself of what happened. When she got home, she was surprised I was still up and apparently could tell from the way I looked that something was wrong. I wonder what could be wrong. I poured it all out on her. It probably wasn't fair of me. I didn't even let her sit down. I told her everything. I played part of the video to show her what I saw. Oh my gosh. I called her some harsh names, said she ruined our lives. In that moment, I was incredibly angry. She was very upset, heavily crying and shaking. She told me how terrible she felt about everything that happened. Like, okay. I told her that she had to tell me everything that happened with that guy, and she laid it all out. She cheated on me twice with him. After the time I saw them, she cut things off because she knew it was wrong and she loves me. No, you don't. People who love people don't do things they know that would hurt them. Shame on you. I asked her for proof, but she said she had already deleted and blocked him on her phone, Facebook, and Instagram. She did tell me that he's single and knew she was married. She asked me to delete the video, but I refused. She asked me why, and I really didn't have a reason other than I feel I need to hold on to it for now. She got a little angry at that. No, she doesn't deserve to be angry, okay? And asked if I was keeping it to watch again. It was very late at this point, so we decided to go to bed and talk more the next day when we had more time to think. She continued to apologize repeatedly for what she did. We slept separately that night. Over the next few days, things between us seemed better. I felt some relief that it was all out in the open now. We have continued to talk, and it feels like we are on a path of staying together and moving past this. I have made it clear that she's never to see or talk to that guy again. I would hope so. While things feel like they're improving, I'm still struggling to trust her. Worse yet is that I have a trip coming up for work and I'll be gone for a few days. I've told her that I'm not comfortable with leaving right now, but I can't skip this trip. Boss made it clear that I'm needed. She said I could put cameras up in the house to keep an eye on her if it would make me feel better. Sadly, I may do that. Overall, things are okay. Kids are oblivious that anything is going on, and it seems that slowly my wife and I will eventually get back to normal. I hope so, at least. I'm a little ashamed to admit that I've watched the video a few times since all of this. I'm thinking that I should probably delete it so it's gone from my life. I don't know what's wrong with me. Someone commented, that boy has issues. And not just that, his wife's cheated. He obviously has really low self-esteem, thinks poorly of himself, react the way he has. He's apologizing for her behavior. FFS. What is FFS? What is FFS?
He did nothing wrong, but my word, he has a strange way of dealing with it. I agree with that entire sentence. Sentence? Comment.
Oh my gosh, this one is crazy. Today I found out my 19 male boyfriend. Why do I say the ages and genders? Today I found out that my boyfriend has been cheating on me with his mother. What is wrong with you all? The heck? My boyfriend and I have been together for almost a year now. We met at a mall food court job and immediately hit it off. After a month of knowing each other, he asked me to be his girlfriend. Of course I said yes. Our relationship has been pretty great up to this point. He takes me on dates, compliments me, and just makes me feel super special. The only weird thing is he would never let me meet his mom. I'm scared. I don't know if I want to continue. His parents are divorced and have been for almost his entire life. The divorce was messy, and his father ended up getting full custody. They had the typical every other weekend and 6 weeks out of the summer setup. I've met his dad and his paternal family, but he would be weird when I brought his mom up. I wonder the why. He would tell me things like, we have a complicated relationship, or I'll tell you about it later on. About 3 months into the relationship, I began to realize he would never answer his mother's calls or texts around me. He would hastily clear it out or step into another room to talk to her, even if it was just texting. I tried to not let it bother me because I wanted to respect his boundaries. Last week, he spent the night with me for the first time. I woke up around 3 a.m. because of a bad dream and I couldn't go back to sleep. I rolled over to grab my phone in the dark but accidentally picked his up. Don't do it. I looked at the messages from his mother. Immediately, that is the immediate thing you do. You nosy What happened to respecting his boundaries? I opened his phone and began to read through them and noticed they were mostly very sexual. There would be nudes exchanged, hardcore sexting, not softcore, hardcore, and messages for them to meet up for sex. I read the conversations in disbelief. I tried to pretend like it wasn't real and I dreamed it. That wasn't a bad dream, that was a bad reality. A few days later, I confronted him about it. It didn't take long before he broke down and told me everything. He had been having sex with his mother since he was 13 years old. They usually have intercourse once a week, sometimes more. Oh my god. They've been doing this throughout their entire relationship. Never told her that he had a girlfriend because he wanted them to still have their weekly sessions. This is very sad. This is abuse. This is insane. At this point, I don't know what to do. I love him with all my heart, but I'm so disgusted about him and his mother. I haven't talked to him since he told me everything. After he told me, I ran out and drove to a town 2 hours away. I blocked him on every social media and his phone number. I changed the locks to my house. I have also called the weekend to work so he can't find me. What should I do? Make it work out or break up with him? Update. I have no idea where to start with the events that have occurred within the past 11 hours since I last posted. I am still shaken up and this is hard to process. Girl, you are in like a live Law and Order freaking episode. My boyfriend finally messaged me back a few hours ago after I asked him to meet up with me. He agreed to meet me at his apartment. I made sure that I was going to talk to his dad before him so he could help me find the correct course of action for my boyfriend. While I met with the father, we'll call him X, I was so scared before talking to X that I was shaking. My voice was unsteady, and I had tears in my eyes when I walked in. Poor kids are traumatized. X looked concerned, so he sat us down across from each other. I told X that I believe his son has been sexually abused for 6 years now. Of course, X was taken aback. I started to tell him about what my boyfriend told me. That's when X started to be more and more puzzled. He stopped me while telling the story I knew about his boyfriend and his mother. X told me that there's no way this is completely true. When he says this, I start getting confused as well. X tells me that my boyfriend's mother died in a car accident when he was 8. Okay, what? Wait, this just like took a completely different route, no pun intended. Sorry, my condolences. X never remarried or had a girlfriend. At this point, I am dumbfounded. And I have no idea what to say. X tells me that he didn't think my boyfriend's mother was sexually abusive while she was alive, or why my boyfriend would even tell me this. What the heck? You freaking psycho? I would just spit. Freaking psycho making me spit. X also tells me that he has no idea who mom might be on his phone. I take a few minutes to calm down and think before I head over to my boyfriend's apartment. The drive was only 10-ish minutes away from X's house to my boyfriend's. I took this time to process what X told me and what I would say to my boyfriend. When I got to the apartment, I promptly went inside. I demanded
answers immediately. I asked the truth about his mother, the messages I saw, and if they've really been having sex since he was 13. Of course, he apologized again and gave me the same story, but it made me angry. This is where I lost my cool. I yelled and told him that X told me that his biological mother has been dead for almost 11 years. I told him I knew there was no way the story he told me was true because his mother passed when he was 8 years old. Well, boyfriend, fess up. What's going on? My boyfriend became silent and looked down. At this point, I was crying uncontrollably. I felt so bad for what happened and I wanted to get him therapy. Oh my gosh, sweetheart. I was willing to forgive him for keeping the secret from me. My boyfriend was silent for a few minutes and then finally spoke to me. He told me he made the whole story up. The contact he had as mom was an ex-girlfriend he regularly hooked up with. She was 20 and a bartender in our city. He put her name as mom so I wouldn't get suspicious that he was talking to another woman so often. He didn't think I would find out, so he fabricated the whole story up. This way I wouldn't be mad at him. He's a idiot. He's so stupid. Didn't he think that like, oh, my loving girlfriend would think to address this abusive situation correctly? He told me he figured I would feel sorry for him and stay with him. That's what's wrong with him. He's a psycho. I felt so betrayed when he confessed this. In the past few days, I went from having a healthy relationship to thinking my boyfriend had been sexually abused by his mother. And then to find out it was all just a lie because he didn't want me to know he was sleeping with his ex. He tried to justify it further, telling me it was meaningless and he only loved me. You really think I'm gonna believe that? How am I going to believe that now? You were cheating on me with an ex. Well, with your mom, who's now your ex. So you lied to me 3 times. Ugh. I told my boyfriend that I wanted nothing to do with him and left. He tried to follow and plead with me, but I ignored him. I drove home, threw out everything he gave me, and blocked him. I cannot believe he lied about something so major just to protect himself. I haven't stopped crying since I left his apartment. I'm so hurt, and now I don't know what to do. I no longer want him in my life. Good. I'm considering moving town so he can't find me. Good. He has gotten online and used a fake number to try and get a hold of me to apologize. Sick. I need to clear my head and try to take everything in. I will turn off my phone and my computer for a while so he can't try to contact me again. Update. So my ex-boyfriend came to my apartment and started banging on the door, begging to be let in so we could talk. No. At this point, I would have turned all the lights off. I'm being quiet so he will hopefully leave. I know he can see my car out front, so it's obvious that I'm still here. I want to call the cops, but I'm not sure there's much they can do. Call the cops. I'm thinking about going back to live with my parents until this blows over with him. I'm also considering talking to his ex that he was hooking up with. I got her full name and where she works. I will keep updates as I learn more about my ex-boyfriend. Wow. That was insane. That was some roller coaster. A roller coaster. Sorry, I don't know what's wrong with me. Don't cheat. It's not worth it. That is it for today, guys. That was quite the selection of stories. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, and subscribe. Bye! Piece of poo on a platter.